Cosmic Awakening, 1991. Peru, Journey into the Unknown. Sacred Valley of the Incas. By Makāula Nakae. April 23, 1991. Urubamba Valley. Episode 8, Past Lives, Karma, and Reincarnation. The hotel was enveloped in the quiet atmospheric air of the outskirts of town. Two-story white walls and brown Spanish tiles blended naturally into the surrounding green mountains and blue sky without a shred of discordance. Like a reversal of the intense sunlight, they cast cool shadows, and the indoor air felt refreshingly cool, likely due to the low humidity. It wasn't the sticky, muggy heat of Japan, but a dry warmth that felt comfortable without imposing the heaviness of the weather. I sat down in a deep, single-person armchair surrounding a table near the entrance, alongside a small group including Sakki and Tamtam. When Sakki asked, "How is your chest feeling?" I told her that right as we descended the slope into the valley, it had suddenly grown lighter and the pain had decreased. Seemingly relieved by my newfound composure, she shared, "I heard that long ago, a massive massacre of the Inca people by the Spanish took place across those plains. The pain in your chest might have been a memory of that time." At that point, I knew no details regarding the Spanish massacre of the Incas. The background dynamics of how that slaughter proceeded, was executed, or what kind of event it truly was, were things I only learned much later. Yet I felt certain that the Urubamba massacre had strongly influenced the fall of the Inca Empire. Do past life records equal memories equal karma influencing our current situation? These concepts seem misunderstood in various ways. Chief among them are common misunderstandings of karma and reincarnation, rebirth. Karma is created within a lifetime, and reincarnation continues in order to resolve it. Karma and dharma occupy important positions within Indian religion and philosophy. Karma equals action, deed, the law of cause and effect, referring to actions and their consequences. Dharma equals law, duty, righteousness, referring to correct actions and obligations. Karma is a Sanskrit word meaning action or deed, denoting human actions and their outcomes. It is based particularly on the belief that actions influence subsequent rebirths or future events. Karma is understood as the law of cause and effect, where good actions yield good results and bad actions yield bad results. This law applies not only within a single lifetime, but across the entire process of reincarnation. A person's current situation and future are considered the results of actions performed in the past. Furthermore, there are three types of karma. Sanchita karma, the accumulated karma amassed by all past actions. Prarabdha karma, karma manifesting as results experienced in the present life. Agami karma, karma generated by present actions that will influence the future. The counterpart to karma is dharma, meaning law, duty, or righteousness in Sanskrit. It refers to cosmic order and correct human action. Dharma is a broad concept encompassing individual life purposes and social duties. It is a moral and ethical code of conduct denoting the roles and obligations an individual must fulfill in life. This includes social roles, professional responsibilities, and familial roles. It is believed that by correctly practicing one's dharma, harmony and order are maintained throughout society as a whole. Sanatana dharma, eternal, universal laws and principles. Sva dharma, an individual's specific role or duty, old. The dharma of a father, the dharma of a student. These combined concepts of karma and dharma function as guidelines for understanding how an individual's actions impact the future and pursuing a righteous way of living. By practicing correct dharma, one can accumulate good karma. This means that if personal actions are ethical and correct, one can lead a harmonious, fulfilling life producing good results. Conversely, actions contrary to dharma generate bad karma, which can yield negative outcomes. The foundation of all this rests upon causality. Dharma clarifies individual life purposes and roles, and by practicing them, an individual is thought to achieve spiritual growth and harmony. Karma functions as a lesson teaching how actions influence future results, serving as a guideline for individuals to make better choices. Actions influence future events and subsequent rebirths, reincarnation. The conceptualization of time as a linear flow, continuing uninterrupted from past to future, does not mesh well with modern discoveries in quantum mechanics or the world of brain function. The origins of the concepts of karma and dharma trace back to the Vedic period, roughly 1500 BCE to 500 BCE. The Rig Veda describes cosmic order known as RTA, which evolved into the later concept of dharma. In the Upanishads, dharma is taken up as an important concept denoting personal duty and ethical conduct. Karma equals action, D equals law of cause and effect. Dharma equals law, duty, righteousness equals correct action or obligation. These concepts are teachings concerning human action, duty, and ethical conduct deeply tied to the doctrines of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Karma indicates the law of action and result, while dharma indicates correct action and duty. Each plays a central role in its respective religion and philosophy. The issue at hand is that a linear time framework, a binary time axis running continuously from past to present to future, has been retrofitted onto these concepts. Consequently, the worldview of rebirth and reincarnation dances linearly from past to future, as a waltz between karma, action, cause and effect, and dharma, duty, righteous action. Yet cutting-edge understanding suggests that in reality, the past, present, and future exist simultaneously, overlapping moment by moment. The theory that the past, present, and future exist simultaneously is debated primarily within physics and philosophy. This viewpoint is known as the block universe theory, or eternalism, which treats time as one of the dimensions of space, positing that all events already exist. In the block universe theory, time is regarded as a fixed dimension akin to space. Events in the past, present, and future all exist as a block, meaning time does not progress linearly, but all times exist simultaneously. In other words, the moment we perceive as now is merely a single point existing just like the past or the future. Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity laid the foundation for the block universe theory, demonstrating that time and space are bound together as spacetime, and that the rate at which time progresses changes depending on the observer's state of motion. Viewed from this perspective, time does not flow in a single direction. All events can be seen as existing all at once. Certain interpretations in quantum mechanics, such as Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, posited that all possible pasts, presents, and futures genuinely exist, sharing conceptual similarities with the block universe theory. The concepts of time and parallels, parallel universes in quantum physics, represent an especially intriguing and complex domain within physics. Quantum mechanics holds unique perspectives on the progression of time and the many worlds interpretation, parallel worlds. In quantum mechanics, the position and momentum of particles are determined only probabilistically. Based on Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, future states, including time, are probabilistic rather than deterministic. The state of a particle is described by a wave function, which evolves over time according to the Schrödinger equation. This equation possesses time symmetry, applying equally to both past and future. The delayed choice experiment and the quantum eraser experiment suggest that an observer's choices can influence past events, challenging the concept of a linear flow of time and showing that the distinction between past and future is ambiguous. The concept of parallel worlds, or the many worlds interpretation, MWI, was proposed by Hugh Everett. According to his interpretation, each quantum mechanical choice or observation result actually branches, forming a new universe. In other words, every possible outcome is realized as a separate, distinct parallel world. Under the parallel worlds interpretation, the wave function branches with every observation, generating independent universes where each branch holds a different outcome. Thus, infinitely many parallel universes are thought to exist, and an observer consciously exists within one of these branching universes. Which outcome an observer experiences is determined probabilistically, but all outcomes become reality within their respective universes. Quantum physics has exerted a profound influence on the concepts of time and parallel worlds. Time does not flow linearly, it is probabilistic, and an observer's choices may even influence the past. The many worlds interpretation suggests that every possible outcome is realized in its respective universe, implying the existence of infinitely many parallel universes. These theories have the potential to vastly alter our understanding of time and reality. Normally, most people attempt to grasp time using the concept of an axis extending in a straight line from past to future. In reality, however, The concept of time is far more flexible and multidimensionally intersecting than we imagine. Our consciousness overlaps in multiple layers. The waking mind is not everything. The total system of consciousness in human beings possesses something akin to the concepts of time and parallel worlds, or rather, the same laws apply. Consciousness itself is an energy body capable of metabolizing energy parallel to various dimensions and time axes, encompassing the physical body and crystallizing that physical body into this present reality. Simply put, our consciousness can connect to positions transcending time, space, and dimensions. These concepts and perspectives of parallel worlds and the many worlds interpretation suggest that we must re-examine the worlds of karma and reincarnation from a fresh angle. The traditional concepts of karma and reincarnation have been interpreted through a linear, binary flow of time, reborn continuously into the future, one after another. Karma carries over through reincarnation from past lives to the present life and onward to future lives. This conventional worldview of karma and reincarnation fails to mesh with the concepts of parallel worlds and the many worlds interpretation, because that worldview posits parallel dimensions rather than a linear track. Traditional spiritual teachings are unexpectedly being forced to undergo a paradigm shift. Witnessing auras at Hotel Alhambra III. While waiting for our check-in, the conversation naturally gravitated toward the UFO-frequented lake we had passed earlier on the road to the valley. Everyone was buzzing with excitement, wondering if there was any way we could manage to visit the lake again. Since the pain in my chest and my unrelenting tears had left me with zero bandwidth to take in the scenery at the time, I desperately wanted to go back. I also found myself hoping that, if fortune favored us, we might even catch a glimpse of a UFO as we sipped the hotel's complimentary coca tea and hashed out a plan for returning to the lake. Carlos began a briefing regarding the archaeological sites around the hotel and our upcoming schedule. What particularly caught our attention was a pre-Inca salt mine near the valley that still functioned fully to this day. A collective desire swept through our group. We want to go to the lake and those pre-Inca salt mines too. Before long, Edward and Hoshena began handing out room keys to each participant. As I watched the two of them draw everyone's gazes, another bizarre thing started happening to my perception. I began to see a golden aura, a glowing light forming an energetic layer wrapping around their physical bodies, shining around Edward and Hoshena. Half doubting whether I was actually seeing what I thought I was seeing, I whispered in bewilderment to Sakimura. I can see this glowing light, sort of like an aura around Edward. Does it look like it's glowing to you too, Sakimura? With utter nonchalance, she replied, I see it. That man is amazing. Sometimes his whole body glows in all 7 colors. Just like that, I had suddenly become capable of seeing auras with my naked eyes. While I knew of auras as a matter of theoretical knowledge, I had never actually witnessed one with my physical eyes, nor had I ever believed I could see them, or that one could ever learn to. It was a true bolt from the blue. Without a shred of expectation or anticipation, they had suddenly started appearing, leaving me completely baffled and clueless as to what it all meant. Why did this happen? Who knows? Between the bizarre phenomena that began on the prairies of the Sacred Valley and this sudden ability to see auras, the only logical conclusion I could draw was that this land was rapidly accelerating the activation of my latent capacities. First of all, I hadn't seen anything of the sort yesterday, and it was only upon arriving in the Sacred Valley that I suddenly became able to perceive them. Thus, that seemed the most natural explanation. Inside my mind, I felt a vague sense of good grief. Every single thing happening to me felt so utterly outlandish that reality simply couldn't keep pace inside my head. Ironically, that disconnect was probably what allowed me to accept it all so calmly. It made me feel as though whatever events unfolded from here on out, I'd be able to handle them with considerable composure. We headed straight to the Courtyard restaurant for lunch, partaking in our very first taste of Peruvian cuisine. When dining abroad, one's palate is always prone to comparing flavors back to Japanese food. But the meal at the Sacred Valley Hotel was vastly more delicious and suited to my taste than I had anticipated. It felt like I wouldn't need to waste any excess worry on what our meals would be like for the remainder of the trip. The carbonated beverage we ordered during lunch, the Peruvian staple Inca Cola, was a yellowish-green color that practically screamed synthetic food dye. It had less carbonation than Coca-Cola, tasted crisp, and was intensely sweet. Afterwards, we ordered our customary post-meal coca-tea, which was rapidly turning into an unvarying routine. Coca-tea, mate de coca, is a traditional beverage in the Andean region of South America, brewed from coca leaves. It is made from the leaves of a plant known as Erythroxylon coca. These leaves are cultivated in the high-altitude regions of the Andes and have been enjoyed by local populations for centuries. Coca tea is characterized by a grassy flavor and a slight bitterness, and many people drink it for relaxation and refreshment. Coca leaves have been utilized by indigenous Andean peoples since before the Inca civilization. Whether chewed or brewed as tea, the leaves offer restorative and high-altitude adaptation properties, preventing altitude sickness, which is why coca tea is still consumed daily across Andean regions, such as Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador. Tourists visiting high-altitude areas are strongly encouraged to drink it as a preventative measure against altitude sickness. Coca tea is said to compensate for oxygen deprivation at high altitudes, helping to alleviate the symptoms of altitude sickness. It also aids digestion and reduces gastrointestinal discomfort, making it a helpful post-meal drink to promote digestion. Additionally, coca tea possesses a mild stimulating effect that assists in fatigue recovery and energy enhancement. Locals utilize it during long work hours or mountain treks. While moderate consumption is recommended, excessive intake should be avoided. Experts explain that it is important to consult a physician in advance, particularly if it might interact with other medications or specific health conditions. Furthermore, because coca leaves serve as the raw material for cocaine, they are strictly regulated in the United States, Canada, the European Union, Japan, Australia, and many other nations where the importation, possession, use, or bringing in of coca leaves and coca tea is prohibited by law. Post-lunch conversation focused entirely on how we could visit the UFO lake. When we consulted Alex, he told us that if we finalized the head count and departure time, he would arrange it. We immediately started word-of-mouth recruitment for the mini tour among the participants, and with effortless ease, it was settled. We would visit the pre-Inca salt mines via the UFO lake. To be continued. Watch and listen. Watch the cinematic video trailer. Listen to the full podcast now. Explore the archive Cosmic Awakening Volume 1, 1991, Peru, Journey into the Unknown, Sacred Valley of the Incas. Volume 2, Ascension 2012, The Golden Alchemy. Part 3, The First Contact. Join the journey. New episodes drop periodically. Each chapter delivers a tight, hyper-focused 10 to 30-minute hit of real-life experiences, perfect for your daily plunge into consciousness exploration. Subscribe to support your inner development. Thumbs up to help push our channel through the algorithm. Comment below. Share your thoughts on today's episode.